We're going to kick things off this morning by talking to one of the fresh new voices out there, somebody who creates a little controversy from time to time. And we're excited about having him, but we've got Madison Cawthorn, who's from the North Carolina 11th Congressional District, and he's going to be joining us here, and thrilled to have him on. I think he's on the line. Do we have Madison? Congressman, you there?
Jason, I'm here, my friend. How you doing?
Thank you so much for joining us on the Brian Kilmeade Show. Lots happening in Congress. Yeah, you're just a freshman, but boy, a few months into it, I told you when I had a chance to chat with you, I said, "Hey, don't worry about it. You know what? Look, I served in Congress 8.5 years. It's not always like this." But with Nancy Pelosi in charge and the Democrats having the House, the Senate, and the presidency, things haven't changed much. It's been crazy town since day one, but I hope you're still enjoying it. Glad you're there.
You know what? I have had a front row seat of getting to watch really these people who say they represent the American people completely lose the trust of the American people. I actually wanted to thank the squad, AOC plus 3, for actually helping us win in Virginia. I'm telling you, the radicalization of the Democratic Party is starting to turn off so many Americans. They're starting to just say, everything that you guys believe is annoying. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And when we're starting to see supply chain issues, when we're starting to see record inflation, when we're starting to see labor shortage, people don't want to sit here and talk about our pronouns.
Yeah, I had Rob O'Neill. I was talking to him. He's the Navy SEAL who took the shot to kill Osama bin Laden. He said, here we are. We're getting ready. The Chinese are building a military faster than we can believe, doing things to prepare to go to war. And we're over here arguing about, who goes in what bathroom. And that's not a way to prepare for war. But part of the reason that the president's poll numbers and Kamala Harris numbers are just the worst, some of the worst support levels we've ever seen, is because of this massive spending. I think there's a arrogance. We're going to talk about this later, that sort of permeates this latest crew out there, and it infects people in Washington D.C. But I see it in the current administration, this arrogance that comes out and just kind of assumes that America doesn't understand things as well as they do, and that's why they have to do all these different things. But you were there. The nation just passed this infrastructure bill. Now, quite frankly, they wouldn't have been able to do it with the support of Republicans getting them over the finish line, because some of those very ardent socialist progressives were going to vote no, did vote no with you. Why did you vote no on that bill? And, what does that say about the Republicans who did vote yes?
Oh, well, the reason I voted no is very simple. I believe in infrastructure. I want to have the most high-tech rail systems in the world. I want to have fast wireless internet all over our country, into every corner of everywhere, for broadband connectivity, the best roads, the best bridges. But this bill does not do that. There are some different calculations of what you can actually quantify as real infrastructure. But even the most liberal of commentators will say that only 9% to 20% of this bill has to do with infrastructure. The rest of the things just have to do with Green New Deal, just idiocy that really is not going to be helping anyone. And I want to make it very clear, like you said, it was not the Democrats who passed this bill. It was the rhinos. This bill is why the American people do not trust Washington. You saw Republicans largely unified in messaging against this bill. We were mocking the Democrats for not having their act together in their party. And then the Republicans are the ones who gave the Democrats over the finish line and gave them cover. This bill was legislative malfeasance. My generation is going to have to pay for that garbage, not Nancy Pelosi. And so I take it very personally.
I was there on the floor of the House back in 2009. We had economic problems when Barack Obama took over, and the Democrats insisted that they have a stimulus package, an infrastructure package. There were bridges and roads that had collapsed there in St. Paul, Minnesota, and the call was, if we do infrastructure, that's the best way for government to spend. And it sounded good. The problem was, I think it was less than 5% of the $787 billion that was appropriated. I voted no. but less than 5% of the $787 billion actually went to roads, bridges, and highways. And most of it went to go bail out unions, bail out governments. It grew the size of government, but it's suddenly that the roads weren't working better because they had more staff at the Department of Transportation. I mean, and then we had years of hearings about all the waste, fraud, and abuse that happened, and here we are doing it again, but at even bigger level. And there's some positive things to point to. When you go out and spend that much money, there can be some help, but it's going to lead to this inflation that is just eating people alive right now.
And you know this very, very well, Jason, that inflation helps the upper class. People who are able to have real assets, whether it's real estate, gold, silver, whether it's being able to control the supply chain, own the warehouses, whatever it is, the square footage space. This inflation helps the elite, the elites. I mean, I feel like Bernie Sanders, I'm saying this helps the 1% of the 1%. But the problem is it does not help the normal American people, the middle class, which that's who I'm here fighting for. I'm here fighting for that young family around their dinner table who's trying to look their daughter in the eyes, trying to understand, man, how am I going to give them a better world, especially when they can't afford to be able to buy the things that they used to be able to buy.
Well, look, the Democrats passed this infrastructure bill, but now what they really want to do is they really want to pass their Build Back Better bill or whatever it is called these days. It's the reconciliation bill. It's the $4 trillion. That's the big one. That's what they're really, really going after. And you have Ron Klain here in clip one who's saying, you know what, this is actually all paid for. Listen to Ron Klain, the chief of staff.
Well, I think we're going to get both these bills done. Look, I wish Republicans would support the Build Back Better Act. I wish that bill were bipartisan as well. But we got this infrastructure bill passed. We are going to get the Build Back Better Act passed in the House when the Congress comes back after this Veterans Day break. Yeah. We're making progress on this agenda.
Well, it scares me that the chief of staff may have this right. But this one has zero support from Republicans at this point.
I mean, you know what? I wouldn't count your chickens before they hatch. I have found that there is no end to which these people who call themselves Republicans will surprise us. There are so many people who get elected as soon as they get to Washington, D.C. And, Jason, you've been there. You know this very, very well. They get caught up in the whole process of chasing that next echelon of power and saying, well, I'll do the right thing for my district once I get to this level of power. But the next thing you know, they've been chasing another echelon of power every single year for 10 years. And then they look back and they've done nothing for their people. And so I genuinely hope you are right. No Republicans are going to support this, but I just don't know.
Yeah, and Cedric Richmond, who I actually have a great deal of respect for, somebody I actually served with there in Congress. He was on the Judiciary Committee when I was on the Judiciary Committee. But, boy, he was on Fox News Sunday here in clip 2, repeating the claim that the bill is fully paid for. Listen to Cedric Richmond.
It is fully paid for. It's more than paid for, and it will lead to long-term debt reduction. That is a fact. The bill that we laid out will do that. And what Penn does, which is patently false, is make assumptions about what Congresses will do years from now, decades from now. So our thing is look at the bill that's in front of us. It's the third prong to our economic agenda, which is producing great results.
What's your thoughts on that, Madison?
Well, I mean, just to attack it from the last part to the beginning, I mean, when he says that our economic plan is producing great results, I don't know if you've ever driven around any town in America, but I am seeing tons of shops, tons of businesses who are incapable of being able to have normal hours or being able to serve the normal amount of customers they normally serve because nobody's coming back to work because this economic plan is not working for Americans. Maybe it's helping for Jeff Bezos, but that's it. But when we start talking about that they have this bill completely paid for, to the American people who are hearing this and saying, well, there must be some complexity that I don't understand when they say it's not completely paid for. No. Please look at this just with common sense. This bill is not paid for. It will cost trillions of dollars. We will go further and further into debt. And make no mistake, the debt and the deficit that we are facing right now is a national security crisis. These people are putting our nation at risk with this crazy level of spending.
Yeah, I don't understand how they think they can, with a straight face, say it's paid for. First of all, our current government is not paid for. So if you think that we're on the right trajectory, we're not just one good tax increase away from prosperity in this nation. I don't see how in the world they think that is. The other thing that they do is they continue to say that the so-called Trump tax cuts, that led to massive debt and deficit. Well, you know what? Revenue to the Treasury, when they instituted the tax cuts, the revenue to the Treasury went up. Taxes went down, revenue went up because it was an economic stimulus. If you add more taxes on top of the inflation and all these other problems and create incentives for not have people in the workforce, there's still 4 to 5 million people that are not engaged in the workforce. Those workers are just gone because there's too many incentives for people not to work.
No, you're absolutely correct, and this is the problem. I mean, I have been discussing it with so many people, saying, where are the workers? I don't understand, especially once we cut a lot of the extra stimulus money that went out for people who were unemployed at the time. We cut that into September. It creates this question, where are the workers? And now when you start wanting to pass this multi-trillion-dollar bill, when businesses are incapable of actually getting the supplies they need. I mean, if someone wants to put a new pump inside of their pool, it's going to be a 9-month wait. I mean, you can have a baby faster than you can get most of the supply needs that you need in this country. It's a real shame the direction we're heading, and make no mistake, this will really start to hurt us in the coming months.
Well, it's the crazy. Some of the numbers are crazy. I think it was Federal Express is saying that they will ship 100 million more packages than they did the previous year, which is a crazy number. So that part of the shipment and moving, but it creates all sorts of supply chain problems that were in place long before. Congressman, I want to get your take, though, real quickly on immigration, because Joe Biden was challenged about the idea that we were going to pay people as a nation $450,000 when they came here illegally and were separated. But now he's kind of walking that back a little bit. Listen to this, clip 11, Joe Biden on immigration.
You said last week that this report about migrant families at the border getting payments was garbage.
No, I didn't say that. Let's get it straight. Now, here's the thing.
Sure.
If, in fact, because of the outrageous behavior of the last administration, you coming across the border, whether it was legal or illegal, and you lost your child, it's gone, you deserve some kind of compensation, no matter what the circumstance.
Oh, Congressman, that's a little different than this clip 12. Let's listen to Joe Biden just back on Wednesday.
As you were leaving for your overseas trip, there were reports that were surfacing that your administration is planning to pay illegal immigrants who are separated from their families at the border up to $450,000 each, possibly $1 million per family. Do you think that might incentivize more people to come over illegally?
If you guys keep sending that garbage out, yeah, but it's not true.
So this is a garbage report?
Yeah.
Okay. So
$450,000 per person. Is that what you're saying?
That was separated from a family member at the border under the last administration.
That's not going to happen.
Congressman, what do you think?
Jason, it's no surprise that whenever this person believes that they are facing any kind of flack or whichever way the wind blows or whatever way his handlers tell him to go, he goes. I mean, you can literally hear him say, oh, no, I didn't say that was a garbage report. But then as you just played that last clip, it's very clear that he did say that. I believe we're going to be paying anyone $450,000. It should be the people that have been forced to be laid off of their businesses because of these unconstitutional mandates, which have been coming out of the Department of Labor and from OSHA. I genuinely believe we have so many firefighters in Washington, D.C. and New York City who are now are going to be losing their benefits, losing their pension after they've worked 23 years in a firehouse protecting people's lives all throughout the pandemic. Now they're losing their jobs. If we're paying anyone, it's going to be them. But I will just say it is no surprise that the president is walking this back, because when the American taxpayer hears that their tax dollars are going to illegal immigrants who come into this country, that is just ludicrous. And let me tell you, if he is saying that he wants to give money to someone because they lost their child while crossing the border, first of all, you never should have put your child in harm's way like that. But second of all, Do you think $450,000 are going to replace the hole that has come because you lost a child? No, that's absolutely ludicrous. What needs to happen is we need to lock down our border, stop immigration for a little while until we can actually get our immigration system sorted out, until we can make it a very, very merit-based immigration system where we bring people that we need into this country. And then you're not going to be facing any problems like this at all at the border.
Yeah, I think until you pay members of our United States military lost their lives, their next of kin, $450,000, pretty offensive. And what about those 9 victims of 9/11? You're going to pay an illegal immigrant more? So fundamentally wrong. Congressman Madison Cawthorn from North Carolina's 11th Congressional District, thank you so much for joining us on the Brian Kilmeade Show.
Hey, Jason, thanks for having me. Brian Kilmeade, I hope I'm sorry, but I think I might like Jason better if you're listening. All right, talk to you guys soon.
More of the Brian Kilmeade Show after this.